my name's Drew Hill. I've been a street photographer for the last 25 years. It started at Ilam School of Fine Arts, where I went in 1996. And I went there to do sculpture originally, but I ended up crossing over into photography with Glenn Bush, and he just opened my mind to black and white street photography. Henri Cartier-Bresson, Hans Westra, all those types of people I studied and just influenced the way I saw the world, and I love black and white. So through that I documented people, political, environmental and things that I saw that were interesting. So the idea was spending time in the streets, walking the streets, and you'd see a snippet of something that you might walk past every day, or it captures your eye, and my aim was to photograph that. And so I spent a lot of time in my last year at art school in the square in Christchurch, and I had a quote from Jim Bolger that said, "Gone are the days of hope and borrowed, the future's looking bright." And I got people to read that, a cross-section of people, took their portrait and then recorded what they said about it. And that's where my love started. So I went back to Gisborne, and the first year I was there I got a job, publication 2000 Year History of Tūranganui Kiwa. So I went and photographed all the marae, elders, kaumatuas, and I just kept on doing that. I went around the East Coast and I photographed everyone I met. It took me 3 weeks in a comma camper van, and just had no sort of plan or agenda, just roamed and met people and met amazing people who invited me back to their house, and I photographed their family. So it was kind of along the lines of Hans Westra, her trip, sort of based on that. And from there I haven't really stopped. I went overseas through Eastern Europe and photographed what I saw there. I'm always taking my camera, I've got it with me, and I just see things that I find interesting, quirky or political. And that's what what I document. I listen to the radio a lot and listen to Talkback at night when I go to sleep, and that's where I get my topics from. So I hear what people are talking about and the issues they have in life, and then I think, wow, I've seen that. I know what I connect to that in a way. So I sort of tell their stories through the lens of my camera and put my point of view on it as well. And that's where it stemmed from. Yeah, so back in 1996 when I started picking up the camera. I think for me it's looking at culture, identity, and also looking at the gap between the rich and the poor, the things I see that are unfair in New Zealand and the way we're living. The rich are getting richer, the poor are getting poorer. That's an obvious thing to look at for me. People that are on the street that have fallen through the cracks. How they live, how they look, things like that. So it's always coming back to the roots. The rawness of it is basically what you see every day. When you're driving in your car or walking along the street, something catches your eye and you're like, wow, that's just an amazing moment in life. And with my camera, that's what I look for. Yeah, it's always coming back to that. This might sound weird, I guess, but in my family, I'm the youngest, so everyone else in my family is really successful, and I'm the underdog in a way because I'm the artist and not maybe as affluent as they are or whatever. So it's taken them a while to understand what I'm doing and why I'm doing it. So it's the love and the passion and all that, but I think that's where it stems from. And I just find it interesting. Everyone hears about, like you look at Facebook or whatever, and people always post positive things and never posting negative things or sad things or whatever. And that to me is just as important, if not more important, because it's real. Everyone's not just having an amazing day and it's always through rose-coloured glasses kind of thing. So I like to pick at things and pull them apart and try and see what the real issue is, or see how they really, so it's more like an onion and peeling off all the layers to get down to the raw truth. And that's what I try and do with my work, especially street photography. I've lived on the coast. I moved there when I was 12, from Auckland, from Titirangi, and I've always just loved living there. I mean, I grew up surfing, and it's just an amazing place. And I just had a natural affiliation to Māori, to culture, identity, and just the way they live, and you know, just loved that. And then just recently, my dad passed away in 2005, so we didn't know anything about our family history. And then through my oldest brother doing a DNA test and finding out information, my dad's half sister is Kiri Te Kanawa. So that sort of answers a lot of questions for me. And so she's from the coast, from Tokomaru Bay. I've got cousins that I've never met from Toko and Ruatoria. And it just, that's why I kept on going back there. There was a reason, I didn't know why. And now it's all becoming another journey. So there's a whole lot of people that I want to go and photograph and meet. And just, yeah, so I've been photographing and doing short films as well. I've done a short film about Al Burns, which I'm still working on at the moment, who's a famous surfer. Me and a friend, Andrew Smith, have collected hours and hours of Super 8 footage that people have given us. It's really iconic. It's all the legends of surfing in Gisborne. And also, I've been going up the coast and asking people how, like asking Māori families and kaumātuas, how do you pass on the knowledge to the next generation? How are you doing that? And they're finding it really hard because the next generation doesn't want to learn how to hunt, or how to live off the land, or how to grow a garden or build, or just the natural things that they used to do, or that you do to live on the coast. People are more interested in PlayStations and whatever technology. So there's this gap forming, and so by just shooting little films and asking them about how it was when they grew up to now, in a way I'm kind of passing on that knowledge by using technology, using media to do that, or Facebook. Not necessarily Facebook, but that's a process of I've sort of gone back to film as well, so telling the story in film and photography. But yeah, it's been amazing to find out that I actually come from the coast, and it just blows my mind. So there's a whole lot of things going on there that I'm discovering now, and so yeah, it's been awesome. So I've got a show at the moment at Depot Art Space called In Your Face, where I've been printing on fast food wrappers. So it's based on obesity and how corporations are killing generations with fast food. There's no boundaries of what they are creating. It's not even food, it's just chemicals. And as you know, obesity and heart disease, diabetes is prolific in New Zealand and around the world. In England, they spend $10 billion a year on it, and it's going to cripple the health system over there. And in New Zealand at the moment, it's 50% of people admitted to hospital is because of heart disease, diabetes, or obesity related issues. So what I did, I was thinking, how can I look at this issue? How can I attack it? How can I get it out there and make a point of view that's different to everyone else? So they mass produce their food and wrap them in wrappers and all their branding, which I call their propaganda. So I use those wrappers and mass produce my artwork. And so I've been printing on the wrappers and turning them into pieces. And it's an interesting process because you've got some of the wrappers have DNA, food still on the wrappers, so the DNA is still on there. So I iron the wrapper out, cut it to size, put it through my printer, and it jams at random points because the wrapper doesn't go through, it just hates it. And so what happens is you get all these crazy effects that, to me, reminded me of the Andy Warhol piece, the Marilyn Monroe repetition. And also, David Hockney made an interesting point, is when you look at a photograph, you actually look at it longer than it takes to make it. So I wanted to put time into my work. And so traditionally being black and white photography, street photography are now moving more into contemporary. So I've started making up grid systems and single wrappers and printing on them and making works from them. Doing the black and white photography, like I said, I've been doing that constantly. And then Mark Moran from Toyota Huna, I had a show in Queenstown with him, with Simon Ardeli, and I did sculpture as well, so I was using acrylic. Me and Simon did some pieces, and I happened to show Mark the photos on my phone. I said, check out these photos here. And then he got hold of me maybe a year later and said, have you still got those photos? I can still remember the day you showed me them, and locked in my mind. and so it stemmed from that. I hadn't shown them anywhere because I was holding them off just to wait, for something special, and so I ended up printing them, and then the process changed again. The David Hockney thing always plays in my mind, creating time in my work. So what I did is I actually printed out the pieces, hand painted them, and this was just on normal paper. It started out on normal paper, so I printed it out on an A4, hand painted it, screwed it up, flattened it out, and then re-photographed it, which gave it a whole lot of texture and contours and things like that, and it became real street. It went back to the street. It was like graffiti. It's kind of, industrial. It had all these things happening to it, and so from there, I was like, well, what else can I print them on? And it just came to the rappers. I just was listening to Talkback, and they were talking about obesity and fast food and all that kind of stuff, and I was thinking, it just went boom, rappers. Use the rappers. That's what you see everywhere. It's rubbish. It's found objects, which is really important to me as well. So it's recycling. It's part of all that kind of thing. So it just, from there I started getting the wrappers, and I was thinking, how am I going to print onto it? What do I do? And that's why I went to like a professional printer place, and they said, oh yeah, we can do it. And it marked the drum, and then I was like, okay, maybe I'll just go back a couple of steps and just try it myself. And I did it at the school printer. I did a few, and then they came out really cool. And so, that's how it happened. The people that are on the wrappers are bodybuilders, so there's a juxtaposition there. So the people that are on the wrappers, you're never going to look like them, because if you eat that food, you know what's going to happen to you. So it's a play on that, and there's a lot of metaphors working in there. So, and it's just been a really, at times, frustrating process trying to print. I'm at home on the table, the kids are running around, I've got wrappers everywhere, people are dropping off wrappers, I've got wrappers in my shelves, some of them are a little bit smelly, and I'm ironing them and trying to get them through the printer, whacking the printer if it's not going, cursing it, and then when it comes out, it's just amazing, So it's like being in the darkroom again, but it's that printmaking process. So it comes out the other end, you don't know what it's going to look like. You kind of know what's the images and all that, but you don't know where it's going to jam or how it's going to look. So it's just really nice. I really like it, and it's almost like, it's like printmaking in the traditional sense as well, So I'm trying to step away from original black and white documentary photography, and I've made this year's been quite a whirlwind for me. Part of this show here has been in Hong Kong, in the Boom Gallery, and that went really well. And then I had a show called Blurred Lines in Queenstown, where I blew up some of these images on A0 to A0 prints, and then from there they went to the Auckland Art Fair with a video installation as well. And then I went back down to Queenstown for Luma, Southern Lights Festival, which was amazing, and now back up to Depot Art Space for In Your Face. So it's like, the name of the show is, I've had 5 shows in 5 months pretty much, and this is In Your Face. I've been in everyone's face for the last 5 months, so there's a play on that as well. And it's been incredible driving the length of the country, almost flying everywhere for my wife and kids and dragging them with me, and it's just been a ball.